What is up, everybody? It is Monday, June 17th, 2019. This is Radio Tokyo. I'm Jonathan. I'm here. Nick's here. And you know what, Nick? I was right the other day. We should not have, we should never change that because that's just the greatest intro I think we're ever going to have. You know, it works. Why change it?
I don't know. I mean, if we stop here, will we ever truly be able to achieve perfection?
No. Well, I mean, if you want to go with the Emily Dickinson way of looking at things, you know, success is counted sweetest by those who never succeed, then yeah, we would need to fail miserably for the rest of our lives to succeed. But, you know, what makes for success?
I don't know. Maybe we should start failing. How should we fail?
No, I have no desire to fail, especially after what 100. We're at 106 episodes now. Granted, if we had not taken a break, you know, probably would have been higher than 106. But I'm okay with 106.
It's a good start. It's a start.
It's a good safe foundation upon which we can build a mighty empire of cat girls and comic books and whatever the hell is trending on Twitter. Because I did not, and I don't know if you did or not, but I haven't thought of a single thing to talk about today. Honestly, really haven't. It's just been a day. You know, today was been a weird day. The extra cut out. And when I say cut out, I mean it broke. So it's been hot in the house. Had to have the windows open, the fans going full blast. You know, yeah, it's fun.
Well,
And my parents had to go because my mom had a doctor's appointment because for some reason her arm is swollen up and red. It's hot, and she's had blood clots before, so they went to go to the doctor today because she had an appointment. And there's a flat tire in the car, so I had to go help get her in the truck, my dad's truck, and it wasn't easy. I had to essentially lift my mother up into the truck.
well, that's why you're a big, strong man.
It is indeed. It is indeed. But am I as big and strong as Alex?
As who?
Alex Jones, you know, the Return of the Frogs gay guy.
His name rings a bell, but I think I've blocked out his memory completely to protect myself.
I had to, and then what I was kind of joking about talking about stuff that's trending on Twitter, but I just happened to get on here, and he's for whatever goddamn reason is trending Twitter. Oh, he faces after threatening the lawyer for the students that were killed in Sandy Hook. Wow, what a stand-up guy. This is...
And people wonder why he lost his kids in the custody battle.
See, what's even funnier about that is I followed his wife. I think she still has an active Twitter account. And every day, his name would... And she'd be like, hey, yeah, see how he's crazy in the videos? That's him 24 hours a day. That's why I want to keep my kids. And I'm like, please, God, if you're there, give her the children. I mean, they live in Texas, and there's literally no judge here who's going to separate a mother and her child or children. So, it's good. He's... I don't think he has any visitation rights. No, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this.
See, ordinarily I would not joke about someone losing their parental rights, mother or father, but
when that person themselves is the joke, you can joke about it.
yeah, or when that person is just a literal piece of shit, like a literal piece of shit. That is what Alex Jones is.
So what you're saying is that at some point in time, someone sat on a toilet and shat out a stinking fetid stool that became sentient and became a quote unquote radio host. on the
Yes.
internet, which is kind of what we are. You know, he had a podcast on YouTube. It's what we do. Ours is better.
Ours is miles and miles better.
I think it's because we're not hawking our own product. You know, like I don't even know what we would sell if we were going to try and compete with him.
I want a hat.
You know what? You know what? I can make hats. Yeah, we can start selling hats, and people can just buy our. We can do that. We can go buy our merch. Do it. Buy the merch. Buy a hat.
Oh god,
Buy,
is Alex
buy.
firing us?
No, because his was like nutritional supplements and whatnot.
Wait, he was selling nutritional supplements?
Yeah. Stuff that was supposed to help you become more of a man because you're all just a bunch of beta cucks if you don't use his health and supplements, to help you have bigger muscles and better hair and better teeth. And I don't know what all they were for.
I
But I did watch a video a
can,
while
can I
back.
wait, can I just say I find the term beta or alpha to so I mean I get that it is an actual usage to it, but the modern usage has become so ridiculous and far stretched. It's just it it's a stupid term. So
You're a beta cuck, Nick. That's the only reason.
it 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 makes me angry when I or whenever someone uses the word beta or alpha now in when talking about something, I just start tuning them out immediately.
I think it's funny. Um, there was an argument yesterday in general chat. I was doing the assault, and it was in Just Bar. And there's people they're both from Moonguard, who are arguing in general chat. Why the fuck not? Um,
I still
it got
can't figure out why you play on Moonguard still.
because I play Horde over there, and Horde on Moonguard is actually awesome, unlike the cesspool that tends to be Alliance. And honestly, even made an Alliance character over there just for the hell of it one time and ran around. Which, by the way, the video of that is still on our channel, I think.
I've heard that
Because
as long as you avoid the Goldshire Inn, it's not that bad. Is that true?
it is, except I documented this. It should be on our YouTube channel. Um, I took my character and I went into Goldshire with a role playing add on, because usually whenever someone makes a YouTube video where they go and they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to Goldshire and troll people," ha ha, they don't have a role playing add on. I think Kakio is like the only person I've seen do this, but they go, well, I went with it, and I just would target people and just very happily showed what they had. There's some depraved individual. Now, I'm not trying to kink shame anybody, but
I
I am trying to kink shame people because shaming kinks is my thing. It's my kink. But
oh, I don't want to victim shame you here, but I feel like you asked, like you actually went up to people and asked for this torture.
oh no, see, I didn't ask for like I didn't speak to anybody. I just have a role playing on, and I would click on them, and I would over their nameplate thingy, and I could see what it said, and it's hilarious because there's some stuff, man. There is some crazy stuff. I actually saw something one time. I didn't film it because I was gonna go there more than once, like at different times of the day, just to see if anything changed. And there was one that I didn't record. I wish I had. I really wish I had. It was a female night elf, Death Knight, um, who was. I am so tired of seeing the word bloated. Anyway, she was bloated, and she had a penis that stretched across the room, and it was like 5 feet thick, and like 20 feet long, whatever it was. And the reason it was like that, because she was actually a karai, like the insects. She was that in a night elf body, and she was there to lay eggs in as many victims as possible.
That's fascinatingly horrifying.
Yes, and see, here's the thing. I know, like, the ovipositor toys are a thing. You make like the jelly eggs, or whatever it is. I think are gelatin. And you put them in, then you squeeze them out. Whatever, that's fine, cool. You do you, bro. But I was just kind of stunned. I mean, on one hand, that's actually really creative. On the other hand, how much Franz Kafka have you read, and did you take it to heart?
I'm pretty sure the answer is that they took it to heart and several times.
Well, see, I don't really want to know. But again, yeah, bonus points for creativity for being a giant bug monster in an elf body that's there
It's
to
very
breed some
creative.
new species. I mean,
Yeah.
it's better. Like it's a lot better. For some reason, the trend seems to be level 1 females with really dark skin and black hair, and I'm not gonna say the word for it because it starts with an N. Uh, blank, like N blank bull. Um, and they're here to breed you. That's about the most average thing that you say. And I don't remember if I got that on video or not. I was
I
thinking about going back and doing it again just for the hell of it, just to see how terrible it's gotten. But I just no, it's not worth it. It would be like watching Alex Jones every day and
I
listening to him. Like that's what Goldshire is to me, is Alex Jones.
I feel like it's watching white guys live out their fantasies.
Probably it probably is. And what's even worse is um, there are apparently different zones inside the inn. For anyone who plays World of Warcraft and has played Alliance, when you first go in, to your like to your left, there's whatever his name is. He gives you the quest with invisibility potion. On that side, like where the railing is to the back wall, of that whole area, that's where the ladies with extra appendages are. The other side is, I think, I don't remember. I don't really care. I don't
I,
give a shit. I have mentally blocked as much of it as I can.
I
So
kind of
just
want a map now. I want a detailed map now.
I might have to go back in there and do a map, but I mean, like, the horde is upstairs. There's always a horde player there. They're always upstairs. Um, there's gangbangs in the basement. The dancers are all, of course, on every. And there's traditionally a roasted hoe on the fire.
What? Wait,
Whatever. Yeah,
why?
because people go stand in the fireplace and they're just like every second, because it's burning them, but it didn't do enough damage to actually kill them, and they're just roasted hoes. I'm like, oh, okay, that's great. That's it. It's literally like watching Alex Jones on Moonguard.
I'm kind of scared.
You should be. You should be, because this goes back directly to what I was going to say about watching this fight in General Chat and Drestavar. It was like being in Goldshire. I don't remember what they started off talking about, but it went to this point where someone called someone else a communist, and I'm like, oh wait, that's my thing. Why are you stealing my bit? And then it went back and forth, and then it was like, you bet a cuck, and then it was like, you incel piece of shit, just going back and forth, and I almost like, did someone say something about communism? And someone responded, it was like, yeah, so and so, I can't remember the person's, it was talking about the character, so and so's a communist. I said, oh, warlocks of the world, unite! Because I was on my war. Nobody said anything for like 2. And I finally said, because Karl Marx wrote "Working Men of the World," in the Communist Manifesto. That was a joke. And someone whispered me and said, "I think I'm probably the only person in the zone who actually got that joke."
Well, I hope that made you feel at least a little special.
It did. It did. Mention the Communist Manifesto. Everybody looks at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, well, why don't you read it? Yeah, it take you like half an hour at most. There's nothing harmful in it, and that's like everyone is like, well, communism is terrible. Karl Marx is da 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 da. I'm like, have you ever actually read it? It's about the closest thing to normal. I can like it's not that.
You totally broke up. I could not hear you at the end.
Oh, I said, well, it's not like it's some terrible thing to read. It's not bad at all.
Yeah.
And honestly, there's actually historical value to it, especially the rest of his writing. Because Karl Marx was a foreign correspondent, I think, for the New York Post. I forget which paper it was. But he did like some correspondence reporting, and it was cool. It's great to read that. And he also commented on the American Civil War. In fact, he predicted how it would end, and so he was surprisingly accurate. And it's very valuable to actually read what he wrote. And he just gets played off as a joke, a mean T-shirt, just like Che Guevara. It's like no one really gives a good goddamn who he is anymore. It's like Che Guevara, he's a revolutionary, okay, but do you know who he is? Do you know what his principles were? Do you know why he called himself a communist? No, okay.
I mean, a lot of revolutionaries have at least some good ideas. That's why they get popular.
It is. It is. I mean, we have, and it's kind of weird to say this, but we have a revolutionary as president right now, and he made some crazy claims, and that's how he got to be president, and that's cool in a way, But
If it wasn't
it's
so horrifying.
it's only horrifying because he seems to think that there is a coup going on against him, and there's not. There never has been. But
I wish there was.
whatever. Well, for him, the news media is having a coup against him because they want him dead or whatever. I don't.
I
I really don't know anymore. I just. I
I
don't
feel
know.
I feel like the less attention I give to Trump, the less power I give him now.
No, see, you have to give him all your attention because dropped my earbud. Whoa. Those of you who are wondering, I've got earbuds in. Yay! It's not an actual microphone like you would think it was. I know it sounds amazing, but it's not. You used to not do the show with earbuds. Remember, Nick? I used to have to scream at a microphone that was all the way across the room.
And no one wants to hear you scream.
Some people might. I mean, there might be some people who watch the show and are like, "Yay, screaming!"
If you pay $5, we will have Jonathan scream for you.
Yes, yes. Go to our Patreon. And for every $5 I get, I will just scream. I'll just scream. Well, like what?
Uh,
Like if you want me to scream your name, I'll scream your name or whatever. $5. I will totally do that.
we should make that a legitimate like Patreon bonus thing.
Yeah, yeah. And okay, yeah. For every $1 you give, um, I will call Nick a robot. No, no. Better yet, Nick will make a robot noise for every dollar you get, and for every $5, I will scream whatever it is you tell me to scream.
No, we need something. I want $20 for robot noises.
No. You get $8 because all you have to do is go beep boop beep boop.
No, I need
Yes.
more money.
No, the dollar. Because you
I
see, because
I
you
need 20.
no, you're gonna go beep boop or whatever it is you want to do, and mine requires actual work. You know, you have to practice to be a good screamer.
I'm expensive. I'm sorry.
Um, I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know about.
I did actually think of something to talk about today, a little bit.
I'm gonna not talk about other things that are trending on Twitter
Well, we
because there's
can,
something
but
funny. There's
I
something
think.
funny that I saw on Twitter a little while ago.
Well, hold on, because I think this is actually trending on Twitter. Twitter actually.
Is it Cal Kashuv?
No, it is a Pokemon controversy.
No, that is not trending on Twitter. I'm sorry.
Well, it should be, because
I just looked.
did you hear about the big controversy with the new Pokemon game that's going to come out?
No, because I don't really keep track of those games. I'm sorry.
Well, that's because you're an old man that hates fun.
This is true.
So basically, I believe that the past couple of Pokemon games have included every single Pokemon that has existed for all of time.
Okay.
However, in the upcoming Pokemon game, they will only include the Pokemon that, or if you couldn't capture the Pokemon in the previous games, you could transfer it over from the other versions. In this coming game, you will only be able to use and play with the Pokemon that are specifically in that game.
Oh no, how terrible.
Well, it I'm not especially upset with it because I understand the reasonings, but apparently Pokemon fans, I'm sorry, are really freaking out about it. Um And the reason that they said that they weren't going to do it is because apparently there are over 1,000 versions of Pokemon now. And they didn't think that they had the assets to do all of that in one game anymore. Because they're doing high definition animation and stuff. So it's kind of something I expected them to do for a while, because every time they come out with a Pokemon game, they come out with like 150 to 200 or something new ones. And it's, a lot. So eventually there's just so many Pokemon that it would become overwhelming. So it's not surprising to me at all. But it's a really kind of interesting thing, because the fans just want to be able to bring all Pokemon ever into their new game. Um, and I can understand that perspective, because if you're a fan of something collectible, a collectible game, because that's what Pokemon basically is, you want to collect all the things. Like in World of Warcraft, while we're not hardcore mount or pet collectors, we like to collect mounts and pets.
The hell
And
do you mean we?
I do that too, just not as much as you. Um, and let's say an expansion came out, and they said that when you're playing that expansion, you can only use the mounts and pets from that expansion. It would cause some controversy, to be sure, I think.
It might. I mean, it makes sense, but WoW is not Pokemon, and if you have 250 new little sprites being created for every version of the game, or however many they make every time, that can be a bit much. And I totally understand the reason for not wanting to do that.
Yeah, I mean, eventually it really does become like a logistical nightmare. And just even from a gameplay perspective, think if you're a new player and you want to collect all the Pokemon. Imagine trying like a little kid trying to collect 1,000 of something to complete their Pokemon collection. It's a lot. It's too much, I would say.
Well, that kid will probably be okay. It's fine because there are people still playing Pokemon Go, and they still add Pokemon to that. And some of them you have to be in different parts of the world to get. So, understandably, not being able to get everything in one game is fine.
I do like that Pokemon Go encourages world travel, though.
Yeah,
I
but who the
I
hell
I,
wants to spend money to go to France to get Mr. Mime?
I mean, I'm not saying Mr. Mime is the greatest Pokemon to get. They probably could have gave us something a little more enticing, but
Like, can't you just imagine that you go to uh, the airport to get you a ticket, and they're like, "Oh, you're going to Paris? Oh, cool. What are you going to Paris for? I'm going to catch Mr. Mime." Excuse me, Mr. Mime. That's why I'm going to Paris.
like at least give me something cool, like I don't know, a Zapdos, an Articuno,
Nope,
something.
nope, nope. You have to go to France to get Mr. Mime, and that's. Can't you just see someone spending money, like, for real? Like, I'm being serious now. Can't you see someone actually doing that?
Well, I mean, Americans especially are really bad about traveling outside of the country, so I actually don't think that would be the worst thing in the world. Like, I think that would actually be sort of a good thing. I mean, as silly as it sounds, the getting to experience other people's cultures and things is something that a lot of Americans don't do, and it's a
I
good
wanted
thing
to be
to
the
do.
first kid on the block to get a confirmed kill.
Wait, what?
Full Metal Jacket.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to visit exotic lands and meet uh, interesting cultures and kill them. I wanted to be the first kid on my block to get a confirmed kill.
But what if we could go to interesting other lands and catch Pokemon instead, and have fun with the people there that are also catching Pokemon?
No, because I want to go kill them. That's the point of being an American. It's what we do.
I know it's what we do, but maybe we shouldn't.
Yeah, we should do that.
Yeah, that makes me sad that a lot of people actually think like that.
Is it as sad as Sarah Sanders leaving the White House?
I I'm kind of gonna miss her.
Why? She does nothing.
I know, and she's really good at that.
Well, so the reason I mention it is because I saw something this morning. Um, I'm eating a cheese. Sorry. She's literally done nothing in the role. Uh, it was March 11th, 98 days ago. It was 14 minutes. And then she had one 42 days before that in January. and the one before that was 41 days before that one. So in the last 183 days, we have had a grand total of 3 White House press briefings. They used to be an hour a day every day. She has ruined that position. It no longer exists. And you mentioned being afraid of Trump. Um, Not knowing what the administration is doing is probably worse than knowing that he's there, maybe not doing something, because we don't know now.
I mean, maybe it's just me, but I don't really think Trump is capable of doing things sometimes.
He's capable of getting on Twitter at 3 o'clock in the morning and tweeting about while taking a shit. I know that. Oh, 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 and
Is
sending
that
out racist tweets to me as a response during one of the debates because
but
he
but
said,
is that really something? Or I mean, I'm fine with him doing that. I mean, well, not fine, but
well, see, you should be. That's the normal thing, I think he does. Is like, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I get up. I got to poop. He has a high fiber diet with all that McDonald's and KFC and whatnot. He's got to have emotion. He gets up. He's scrolling through Twitter. Yep, yep. My name. My name. My name. I had the greatest name. I had the greatest Twitter feed. And then he some random nonsense and goes to bed. And I swear, the funniest thing I've ever seen him tweet. I have it ever. In fact, I wish I had the screenshots of it. I'd put it up. Um, it
wait,
was
wait.
him.
Is someone talking to us on the thing
What?
on Periscope?
Possibly. Why?
Well, we should acknowledge them.
You should acknowledge them.
No, you do it.
No, you do this. Hi, person on Periscope. How are you?
Hello. But what did they say?
Okay. Well, what he did first off, because I want to say this before I forget. What he did was he tweeted something and he called it bullshit. And then 9 hours later it was a 3-part tweet, and 9 hours later came the end of it. And I don't know, like exactly what caused it to happen, but I feel like at some point in time, uh, a White House aide realized he was tweeting, and the president of the United States called to own. And for 9 hours, there was this massive fight in the Oval Office, and eventually it involved someone being impaled on an American flag. And that's why we don't have White House press briefings, because the president is getting into death matches in the Oval Office with his aides.
I
That's what
think
happened because he tweeted bullshit, and it took an hour for him to finish the thought.
I think he just fell asleep.
No, no, it was beautiful. It was the middle that like I saw it and I'm like, okay, because there was like a 2 minute pause, but before he ever between the first two tweets, and I'm like, okay, when's it gonna get here? Where is it? And he never tweeted it, and then just randomly, I'm like, yes, this is beautiful.
I
Let me see
I
if I
I
can
think
find it.
you're just making it cooler than it actually was. I'm sorry.
No, no, it was actually really awesome. I'm trying to see if I can find it.
I,
Um,
it wasn't. I mean, I know you have imagination, but no. I'm sorry.
no, this is really cool. I'm trying to see if I can find it. Hang on, hang on. Because it's hilarious.
Well, while I wait for you to do that, I will sit here and think of, I don't know, something.
I know I put it on my Instagram feed. I just don't remember what it was he tweeted. But it was funny. It was funny.
I feel like you're just trying to make Trump look good now. Or interesting. I don't know. Something.
She is interesting. He is. I mean,
No, I find
didn't.
him boring now. I really do. He's just boring to me now.
Well, okay. We'll call him. We'll call him. Call him boring. But telling you, there's a tweet that he sent out, and I'm really trying to find it because I just want. I just want to read it. The entire world that he tweeted something stupid.
This is what happens when we don't come to the show prepared.
Well, I mean, we didn't really have a topic for today. Neither one of us did. So we're just talking about everything. So I'm just scrolling through my Instagram trying to find this because I don't remember when it was.
You've reached peak levels of millennialness now. We're doing a radio show and scrolling through Instagram.
Oh, okay. I found it. I found it. I found it. I found the tweet. I did it. Okay. He says, statements are made about me by certain people in the Crazy Mueller report, in itself written by 18 Democrat Trump haters, 18 angry Democrat Trump haters, which are fabricated and totally untrue. Watch out for people that take so-called notes, because the notes never existed until needed, because I never agreed to testify. It was not necessary for me to respond to statements made in the report about me, some of which are total bullshit, and only given to make the other person look good or me to look bad. This was an illegally started hoax that never should have happened. And then there's an ellipsis. This was at 7:08 on April 19th. Okay, and then the next tweet, the end of it, 3:47 p.m. And he starts with an ellipsis, so you know he's continuing the last statement. He says, "Big fat waste of time, energy, and money. $30 million to be exact. It is now finally time to turn the tables and bring justice to some very sick, dangerous people who have committed very serious crimes, perhaps even spying or treason." This never happened. Tell me that's not beautiful. 9 hours to say that.
I really feel like he just fell asleep. Like, he was writing it, and then he got distracted because Fox News started, and he got excited like a little kid, and just totally forgot what they were doing, and put down his phone for a while, and then just was watching Fox News the entire time, and then took a nap, got like some cereal and milk, and like just sat around in his robe for a long time, and then picked up his phone, and then realized he'd never finished it, and then just finished it.
Possibly.
I
You'll
I I, I
never know.
imagine I imagine that is literally what his entire life is like all the time.
Could be. I don't know. But since we're kind of halfway talking about things that are trending on Twitter, um, I mentioned this earlier, Kyle Kashuv, he's a survivor from Parkland. He's like 19 years old. He is in trouble because Harvard has his admission because when he was 6, he for whatever dumbass reason he did this. He recorded he and some friends making racist comments about people and making anti-Semitic statements about people. Uh, and the way he phrases it is that it was before the shooting, and he issues a non-apology, which is on screen for those at home. But he has this thread on Twitter explaining it, and I'm instead of showing it, I'm just going to read the whole thing. It's 1, 2, 3. It's not long. Okay. He said, 3 months after being admitted to Harvard class of 2023, Harvard has decided to rescind my admission over text and comments made nearly 2 years ago, uh, months prior to the shooting. I have some thoughts. Here's what happened. A few weeks ago, I was made aware of egregious and callous comments classmates that I made privately years ago. Again, they filmed it when I was 16 years old, months before the shooting, in an attempt to be as extreme and shocking as possible. I immediately apologized. Here is my apology. And this is what's on screen. And this is why I want to talk about this shit. Because this is not an apology. This is him being like this is the politician's apology, okay? This is him trying to seem like he's doing the one up thing. And he's not. He's a dick. I have recently been made aware of screenshots circulating that include offensive comments former classmates and I made a few years ago, long before the shooting. I want to address this with honesty and transparency. We were 16 years old making idiotic comments, using callous and inflammatory language in an effort to be as extreme and shocking as possible. I'm embarrassed by it, but I want to be clear that the comments I made are not indicative of who I am or who I've become in the years since. This past year has forced me to mature and grow in an incredibly drastic way. My world, like everyone else's in Parkland, was turned upside down on February 14th, when your classmates, your teachers, and your neighbors are killed to transform you as a human being. I see the world through different eyes, and am embarrassed by the petty, flippant kid represented in those screenshots. I believe those I've gotten to know since know that I'm a better person than that. I can and will do moving forward. That is a non-apology, if there ever was one.
I do have to admit, it's a good politician's apology.
That's all it is. That's all it is. He is an 18-year-old white kid who is not going to go to Harvard because he said a word. That. Okay, here's the thing. I've used in academic settings. I've even said it on the show before. In I've never said it to be racist. You know, like, and I'm a terrible person. I will laugh at anything, including racist jokes. I've even told racist jokes before. And I freely admit that I've done that, and it's wrong for me to have done it. However, I've never, ever, ever done it in any other setting where it's supposed to be, shocking, and it certainly has never been recorded. And the only reason I'm even admitting that I've told terrible jokes is because I'm literally being transparent about it. Yes, I've done stupid shit before. Everybody does when they're younger. They do stupid things. Some people do things until they're adulthood. But he and I are entirely separate. Mine, again, like usually whenever I say something, it's usually in an academic context because there's more times that I've used a particular word describing what someone was called, during the years between 1865 and say 1970, or even today, than there is me ever telling any joke that is inappropriate at all. Right? Right. Not with him. This dumbass recorded it all, and now it's shown up, and he's like, "Oh, well, this is my apology," and it is a non-apology. It's not even remote. It's like he has no remorse for it at all. It's about like um um uh the Louis C.K. apology, that he gave, and everyone read it. It's like, oh yeah, well I can understand. He's making a joke, about rape, for comedy purposes and yada 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 yada. He didn't ever say it was. Sorry, like there's no showing any personal growth, and that's what Kyle Kashuv is doing. He's not showing personal growth. And when Harvard is like, "No, you're not going to come here," um, he says, "Let me find it. Let's see. Okay, Harvard deciding that someone can't grow, especially after a life-altering event like the shooting, is deeply concerning. If any institution should understand growth, it's Harvard, which is looked to as the pinnacle of higher education despite its checkered past. Throughout its history, Harvard's faculty has included slave owners, segregationists, bigots, and anti-Semites. If Harvard is suggesting that growth isn't possible and that our past and that our past and that our past defines our future, then Harvard is an inherently racist institution. But I don't believe that. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Because you're saying other people at Harvard have done this, and look at their careers. They're great people. We revere them because they're intelligent. I did stupid things too. Maybe you should revere me. No, your dumbass didn't get to go to Harvard because you said and did something that you shouldn't have said and done, and the world knows about it, and you never bothered to say, I'm sorry. It was inappropriate. And I say that
Also,
again, as someone who has said things that are inappropriate, and I'm sorry for saying it. I never should have said it to begin with, but I did, and I regret it. I've moved on, and I work very hard to not do that again.
I find the statement that the past does not define the future as ridiculous, I guess. Um, our past is the reason for basically everything that's happening right now.
Oh no,
It,
no, no. He's saying that our past does define our future. Yes. Guess what? Your past has literally defined your future. You will
yeah,
not be graduating from Harvard in 2023 because you're a racist, anti-Semite jackass who didn't learn anything when you were 16, and you never should have said it and done it. And if you did, and someone found out, you said, I am truly sorry. I did not intend for anything that I ever said or did when I was 16 years old to hurt anyone's feelings. And I'm sorry. That's an apology. I've just apologized for this kid. I'm being a bigger person in some hypothetical situation than he is in real life. And that's terrible.
it's a sad reflection of the the younger generation, I guess.
You want to know what makes it worse, though?
What?
Oh boy, my favorite person in the world, Dana Lish, the spokeswoman, the mouth of Sauron for the NRA. Uh, when Tamir Rice, he's like, what was he, 12 years old, I think, in where was he, Detroit, I think, when he was shot for playing with a toy gun. She said that was his own fault. He shouldn't have pointed it at the police officer. A 12-year-old black child deserves to be shot because he's playing with a toy gun, but an 18-year-old white kid deserves to go to Harvard because he called a black person a nigger.
Yep.
Now, again, I'm sorry I'm using the word, but it's what he did, and he made anti-Semitic jokes. There is a. I'll just use a $10 word. There is a dearth of different, like what, like look, I don't even know if dearth is a word. It kind of blows my mind. But there is a large amount of difference between Tamir Rice being murdered because it was a murder. I'm sorry, and I said to someone who did a Citizens Police Academy for my police department, I had to do a training scenario where I got a little fake gun, and if the person on the screen did something I thought was threatening, I had to react. And hell yes, I shot him. I understand, just shooting right away. But you know, Tamir Rice was shot within like 3 seconds of the cop showing up. He's 12. If he has a gun, why don't you, try and talk him out of it? But he's 12. He didn't even know what he was doing. And I realized I will never be able to be in that police officer situation. I wouldn't want to be, because that is something that he has to live with for the rest of his life. But you don't get to say a 12-year-old is responsible for his own at the hands of a police officer because he did something stupid, and then say that this white kid gets to get a should get to go to Harvard for making racist and inflammatory and anti-Semitic statements. And no, he doesn't get to go to Harvard. He doesn't deserve to go to Harvard. Harvard should absolutely rescind his uh, uh, spot in the class.
Oh, definitely. But it's one of those things where I've seen a lot of kids, especially white kids, trying to get attention by, and in a weird way, I don't want to blame Trump for this, but I think Trump has a lot of influence on this by being as shocking and crass as possible to get people's attention. So they'll start using racist terms. They'll start yelling and screaming. They'll start doing whatever they can to get attention. Because on social media, if you can get people's attention and get really popular, well then, not only is there potential from that, but it's just a psychological factor. You feel good because people are watching you. People are listening to you. You feel a rush of power and from the fame.
You know
Um,
what?
yeah,
I don't feel that. I don't feel good about it, because currently we are live on Twitch and on Periscope, and this will be on YouTube later. And me just having said the word that I said will be on the internet forever. I mean, if anyone's heard it live, they've heard me say it live. And
well,
unless they take it down, it's there forever.
I
I now have to have lived with saying that word. So does
yeah,
he.
no,
But see,
no, I'm not trying to defend him. I'm,
oh, neither am I. Neither am I. I'm
yeah,
saying that the consequences of that is that I am a I'll be 37 in August. I'm 36-year-old white man from the South. Okay, there are a lot of stereotypes of people down here, and I've said it 10,000 times. I'm the descendant of people who fought for Confederacy. I I portrayed a Confederate surgeon as a living historian, and I've even been a color bearer in the reinterment procession for an actual Confederate general. Okay, like I've spent 20 some odd years of my life, well, almost 20 years of my life, you know, writing about, speaking about, and portraying stuff tied to the Civil War. Like it's part of who I am, and it's very, very, very easy for someone to misconstrue, me having, say, a Confederate battle flag or something related to that as me thinking I'm a racist. It's very easy for that. And because I just, said that specific word, yes, people are going to think, oh, well, Jonathan's a racist for saying that. But I'm not. And if anyone knows anything about me, they know that I definitely work as hard as I can to support the African American community in the United States. But I'm not applying to Harvard and acting like what I said is perfectly okay and that I'm going to give an apology. No, I legitimately regret even using it right now because I shouldn't have. He
well,
doesn't seem to do that. There is no personal growth.
I think it's partly a lack of personal responsibility. And
Exactly, because
it,
if
it
because if you're going to say something like that, anything or say anything at all, doesn't matter
well,
what it is. It doesn't matter if you're going to say that the sky is blue and the moon is made of cheese.
well,
You
what I mean
own that
is,
statement.
Well, what I mean is that I've used this term before. Being a person of their time. Um, and people have said and they've said and done horrible things because they perceived it to be as normal. Because of the time value. And from a
Oh,
lot of what, huh?
I said, oh, definitely.
And from a lot of what I'm seeing and hearing is that he just thinks this is a normal thing to be shocking, to say horrible things to get attention. And um I mean, sadly that is correct. It doesn't excuse what happened, what he did at all in any way. But he's not wrong about that. And it's something that we really have to kind of address. That
It has to be.
it's not
You're right.
okay.
I mean,
It's not
it's not
okay.
okay.
Yeah, it's not okay to be crass. It's not okay to be shocking, and it's one of those things, especially right now, because that's kind of how Trump won the presidency. Um, he was shocking. He was crass.
He was. I mean, okay. With Trump specifically, what he did, and this is the genius thing for him to have done this. He got the by saying stuff like Mexicans are rapists, and stuff like that. He made all these crazy statements.
Or
So that way,
look at that disabled guy. Ha ha ha.
yeah, he did all that stuff so people would focus on him. There was actually an effort to see how much money was spent on campaign ads. He got $3 billion worth of campaign ads on TV. Free because he made such a spectacle of himself. And I know that Kyle Kashuv is not trying intentionally to do that. He's trying to use the fact that he was involved in a horrific event, a school shooting, which is kind of interesting that we started off talking about Alex Jones making dead children in one to be in be coming close to talking about this. But he's used that to be to be a responsible person, and the fact that it even came up honestly seems it to me it's strange. Like, what has Kyle done to warrant this even being brought up? Like, is there a reason that someone's trying to undermine him becoming an activist, against or an activist in favor of actually enforcing gun laws, which is even something the NRA says? Dan
Oh,
Alesh has
I
actually
mean,
said
it's a
that.
it's a great way to undercut him because Democrats tend to have a lot of minorities in the party, and what's one way to alienate an activist is show that they said something racist. That makes all the sense in the world for whoever to bring this up to to show it.
Well, see, but that's my point. Um, why go to to whatever length to do this to undercut him when there are people on the left and right of the political spectrum both saying, like everybody seems to agree that there needs to be an effort to enforce the gun laws that we have. Recently, the sheriff, or I'm sorry, the school um, police officer that didn't respond to the shooting at Parkland was arrested for not doing his job. The NRA even says that's a good thing. And yeah, it is. Arrest him. He didn't do his job. Kids died. People were injured because of that. Do your fucking job. But undermining Kashuv and being like, "Well, you don't get to go to Harvard." Whatever. That didn't make any sense. It's almost like they're punishing him for trying to do the right thing.
Of course they are.
But at the same time, he in a way does deserve the punishment because of his actions following it being brought up. I'm not going to say that I think he didn't get to go to Harvard or deserve to go to Harvard because he survived the shooting. No, I'm not.
it it,
What I am
it
saying though is that issuing a non-apology and saying I've apologized for it, that's why he doesn't get deserve to go to Harvard.
Oh, definitely. And it's a case of a skeleton being in the closet, and whoever wanted to undercut his power or his activism found it and used it. And he did it very effectively. Um, there are people that do not want gun restrictions or gun laws to come into effect. And they will use that sort of thing to, you know, undercut whoever is speaking out gun laws or trying to encourage gun restrictions. And he's a easy target because of the shooting, because of his fame. So he definitely is being punished. If he if it wasn't for the shooting, probably no one would have ever brought that up, I would think. If it wasn't for his activism, I really don't think anyone would have brought that up. But that's what happens when you put yourself in the public spotlight, and it's something people have to be aware of. And if you know that you have something like that in your past, you better apologize it before it comes out like this. Because if
I,
you don't, you're just gonna get screwed.
I think a lot of it is, and we can talk about this on Friday if you want to. I think in a lot of ways this is just indicative of what's called cancel culture. You know, again, I want to I want to say this even though I've said it nine times now. It's not that I don't think that he deserves to go to college. He's obviously a smart student. He got multiple offers. Harvard, was going to let him go, and then this got brought up, and the way he's handling it is what I have the issue with. I don't think he should be rewarded for mishandling something that should have been handled a hell of a lot better. I mean, just I said something terrible, you know. And again, I'm sorry to anyone who heard me, watched it, whether it was live or watching it on YouTube or rewatching it on Twitch or Periscope, whatever. I'm sorry. Like I'm not intending to offend anybody by saying that. Evidently, he was, and his not accepting the responsibility of that and not apologizing that is where I have a problem.
Oh,
But
definitely.
yeah,
I think
we
the damage is done even beforehand. When something like this comes out, like even if he gave a good, genuine apology, I'm not sure that would have been enough for a lot of people. Um, and I'm not saying Harvard would have kicked him out, maybe, but it's just one of those things. If you know you have something like this in your past, you better just get it out of the way beforehand. Um, and a lot of people do. A lot of people have things in their past that people could use against them, and it's something that they have to account for.
it is, but like I said, that's kind of the cancel culture thing, which, you know, now that I bring that up, I would like to talk about that because there was something that happened at E3 over the weekend. I don't know if you're aware of it, but it's interesting. But I don't want to talk about it without actually involving the person, or maybe not involving them, but at least speaking to them and seeing if it's okay with them if we do it.
Sure. Sounds good.
And for not having an actual topic for this show, I think we managed to have a topic anyway.
Maybe, kind of, sort of.
Yay, go us! But
Mhm.
yeah, thanks for watching. If you're watching this live, thanks for listening to us on YouTube. And sorry there's no movie clips or anything this week. We may have gotten a copyright strike for doing that.
Fight to power.
Well, actually, there was, but one of them was taken down. Yay, thank you. The other one hasn't been. It's not worth disputing because we're not in the partnership program anymore, and we can't monetize the videos, which is why it's very important that you go to our Patreon and you give us money. For every $1, Nick makes a robot noise, and for every $5, I will scream whatever it is you ask me to scream.
I have not agreed to this.
He has agreed to it. I have it in writing in front of me. Anyway, remember to like us on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. Do the bell thing so you get notifications, because YouTube has apparently been deleting people's subscriptions. It's done it to me several times. Like I said, go to the Patreon page. Nick will make robot noises. On Twitter, and follow us on Twitch. And we should be around on Friday.
Yep. We will see you at the end of the week.
Unless for whatever reason, something terrible happens, like, I don't know, nuclear apocalypse, which could happen.
You never know.
It's true, you never know.
But there are radio stations in Fallout, so
Yeah, there are.
nuclear
Maybe we'll both survive, and we can be the only radio program, podcast radio program, in existence after the apocalypse.
I'm just saying a nuclear apocalypse is not an excuse for us to stop.
It's not. It's and it would definitely. I mean, I didn't say that. What am I talking about?
Goodbye, guys. Remember, stay in the basement for at least 3 weeks.
Yep, plenty of supplies. We'll talk to all of you Friday. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.